Hi, welcome. So we've looked at interesting basic data structures in Python like numbers, lists, sets, tuples. And in this video, we are going to go ahead now and look at dictionaries, which is also interesting data structure you would also be using. So let's just go straight to the computer and see how Python operates with dictionaries. So here we have this Jupyter notebook open. So you already know how to launch this. So here I just created this dictionary just to save time. So the first one is an empty dictionary. So you can create it like do it like this, or you can have your use the dict function with this braces like this to create an empty dictionary. And then also you can create a dictionary normally like this. So a dictionary is actually having a key here and a value. So it's just like almost like a dictionary. You want to refer like an apple in the dictionary. You will say, what is an apple as a key? And then this is the value. It's going to return you is something red, sweet. So this is how it looks like. There is the key here, and then there is the value here. So you might be getting confused, but then in reality, when you look at something like sets, sets actually are like this, but there is no key value pair, for example. So, and then you remember that lists are like this. So don't get confused. And then you have tuples are like this. So I hope you're not getting confused with all this. So tuples are like this. So the difference with dictionary is just like sets, but you must have a key value pair. So you just need to note that, and with time you become used to. So like you saw here the name, and then you have the column, and then something inside. So that's the difference between all these basic data structures. I know for beginners you might be confused. So let us run this now. I'm going to press shift enter, or you can press run here, and then we try to get this empty dictionary and we see what is going to come out of there. So it gives you an empty dictionary one, and then if you run this one too, it gives you an empty dictionary two. And then if you get this customer now, let us see. So it's going to give us this dictionary with the name, and then you can see that this is the value. So the key name gives you this value, James Williams. The key age gives you this value, 30. So you can check if you can be able to access an element. So you can be able to get customer, and then you just put in name, for example, and you can easily get an element from here. So you put in the key and you get in the value. So another thing now is, if you try to get something that is not there, let me just say, for example, customer, and then we try to get salary. We know clearly that there is no salary here in the key. So then you run this now, you get an error, key error. So it throws an error telling you it doesn't know this key salary, so it can't return the value corresponding to that salary. So if, for example, you want to check if you can change elements in dictionary, so you want to see if it's mutable, remember, as we always do. So you say customer, and then you say maybe name, want to change the name. Let's just see if we can modify the name from this current James Williams to a name like, let's just give any name here, in a white, or any name. Then now when we run this, we can now check the customer to see how the dictionary looks like, and we see that yes, it's mutable. A dictionary is mutable, so you can change the original name that was here, James Williams, and now you can make it to become Nina White. So let's try to see if we can add a new key value pair to dictionary. So we can say we don't have city there, for example, so we want to add a city to the dictionary. So we can say city, and then we give it a city like Douala, for example. So Douala, and then we press enter. So when we do that now, if we type customer, we should be able to see now that a new key value pair has been added that wasn't existing before here. So we've added this now, city has been added. So you can do that to a dictionary, as well as you could use a delete. So you could say DLE, then you just say customer, and you precise that you want it to delete the city. So, and then when we run customer again, we are going to see that the city is gone, it's no longer there. So now let us move as usual to methods. So if you wanted to see some of the methods that you have, you can always go as usual, as we've been doing in the previous videos, customer dot and then tab. So it's going to tell you there is a copy method, there is a from keys method, there is a get method. So you might say, I want to know what this get method does, as we've been doing before. So you wrap around the help, and then it'll be telling you this method built in return the value for key if key is in the dictionary, else it returns default. So remember when we ran that salary here, we had this, so we got this error. So we could use the get method, for example, to be able to return a default value instead of just throwing an error. So how can that be done, for example? So let me just say you do a print, and then you say customer, for example, dot get, and then you say I want to get now a salary. I know that this doesn't exist, it's going to throw an error, but I just don't want it to throw an error. I want to define what it should return. So I say just tell me not found, for example. Don't just like completely throw this error here, but just return not found. So when we run it now, we see that it just returns not found. So but then if you had maybe just say, let's just put name there, name, it gives you the value because it exists here. But what doesn't exist, instead of throwing an error like this or breaking the code, it just simply gives you whatever you've configured here, like the output as you've seen here. So else default. So there are other interesting methods that you might just need to know when you're dealing with dictionaries. So some of them are customer.keys, for example. So when you run this, for example, you can see that you have all the keys that are available for the dictionary: name, age, is verified, channels. And then if you run, for example, customer.values, for example, values, and then you make sure that you have this method, the braces open, you have all the values, Nina White, 30, true, this one still, so you see a list inside the dictionary. So it's interesting to see that this is one of the values. And then you can also have another interesting method that you might need to know is customer.items. So which you can say, which you can run, and then you have a tuple. This, remember the tuple opens and closes like this, a tuple of name, Nina White, age 30. So key value pairs in tuple, key value pairs, key value pairs. So there are lots of things you can play with the dictionary. So we could just play with a for loop, for example, which you have seen, and then which we are going to work on. So for loop dot values, and then now we can just say, for example, print value. So just lots of things you can do, and then it's giving you all the values. So you could as well do it for keys, you could as well do it for items, and then after that you can use it to do other analysis with this. So there are lots of interesting things you can do with dictionaries. So I hope you've been able to learn some things you can do with dictionaries and be able to see if it's mutable, able to distinguish it from the list or sets or tuples. So see you next video. Wish you good data luck.